Hi, everyone. This is Tracy. I teach sixth grade language arts in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am posting this on Teacher Pay Teacher for anyone who wants an entire unit of my Google Slides for Percy Jackson and the Olympians and the Lightning Thief. And this video is going to walk you through what is in my slide deck because it's 219 slides long. And so I wanted you to see what you're going to get. So the first lesson that I teach is actually how to annotate and how my sixth grade team annotates. And so it is a mini lesson using Papa's Parrot by Cynthia Rylant, which was a sweet story. And so you walk the kids through how to annotate by modeling, and then they do it in small chunks. All right, then there's a quick written response where you model a quality sixth grade response. This could actually be for fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade. It's just we teach it in sixth. And so then the actual unit of Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief begins. We start with an infer the topic. And most kids already know what Percy Jackson is, but some don't, and some have zero background on Greek mythology. And so that's what this opens their eyes to. So what we do is we print these. You can print these in any size. And then we post them actually in the hallway on lockers. And the kids walk around, they look at the images, and they read the captions, and they do an I notice, I wonder. And then we discuss. All right, then there's a book preview that is Rick Riordan, the author, and it gets them excited. Then there's a tiny mini lesson on plot. Our kids come to us already knowing the plot diagram, but we do a mini lesson. And so then you begin with chapter 1. So every time our kids read, they have a set of expectations that they look for with that particular chapter. And so I have a lot of teacher notes down here, but here we use the steel chart, which is for characterization. All of the chapter slides also include YouTube audio links to a guy who has an amazing reading voice, and you can choose to play those. We do in the beginning. When we first start teaching to annotate, we play these, and then we stop and annotate together. I model, and then the students practice on their own. And then we discuss, and here are discussion questions. We have what we do after we read, discussion questions, linking Papa's Parrot back to chapter 1. Now it has links to character traits of Percy. We also throw in fun things. This is a tour of the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, where the setting is that begins the story. Here's some discussion questions. Here's a vocabulary page. Everything is linked for you. So there are about 10 handouts, I think there's over 10 handouts that I've included that we use. We post these online and the kids can type, or you can print them out at your choice. So this is for chapter 1 and 2 and how we look at vocabulary. And then here is chapter 2. It's very similar to chapter 1, except the expectation of what the kids are looking for as they read chapter 2 are different. And then I have my teaching notes at the bottom. This is how we annotate. We do standard versus focus. It's explained in these slides. As you can see, I'm going down chapter 3, the same, new annotation focus, and then we'll do a stop. And here the kids write about Percy's changing point of view toward Mr. Brunner, who is his teacher. And so this is a doc that we'll post online that the kids can type on, work together in groups. It is your choice. And then here's our first official skill. So we've talked about vocabulary, we talk about point of view, and then here's a quick mini lesson on figurative language, which they walk in knowing, but they need a refresher. So here are some fun slides that we show about the ones that we teach with fun video clips to use. All right. Then here's a fun lesson on YouTube where the kids play its popular songs. They're from a long time ago, and the kids have to pick out the figurative language. And then our next skill is main idea and how to determine the main idea using Percy Jackson. Here's a side mini lesson, why study Greek mythology, why is it still relevant? Here's another document that's attached where the kids read nonfiction about why people are still interested in Greek mythology today. More chapters. Then like a figurative language hunt for the kids, another handout where they hunt and find different figurative language within the chapter. This is also really good for students who struggle because we give the page numbers. That way they're not just blindly going into the chapter hunting for random figurative language. It has some guidance and some structure to it. So this is a slide for it, but then there is a handout. Then this is for fun. It's building background on Greek mythology. Most sixth graders don't have this. I wait to put this in instead of doing it at the beginning because it's a big spoiler that it's about Greek mythology, because Percy's character starts out not knowing anything about him being part of that world. All right, so then a link to a quiz, and then the first writing assignment, a rubric that we use, and then step-by-step structured writing prompts, how we do it. So we model with the prompt, does the character trait intimidating, harsh, or evil best describe how Rick Riordan has crafted the character Mrs. Dodds? And we write this one, and we show them a sample, right? And then they try on their own with Sally Jackson. And there's a whole linked doc down here. This is a slide for it. And then there's a whole linked doc that walks them through writing a raft, which is just a response paragraph about writing about Sally Jackson and what kind of character she is, with lots of structured support. And then a fun slide. This is just a YouTube video about Camp Half-Blood, which is from the book. And I just put this on when the kids are writing. All right, so more. We go to chapter 6, chapter 7 with annotations. We stay focused on vocabulary, or not vocabulary, figurative language, more support, how to write a written response, a quality written response on figurative language. Chapter 8, I teach this in the fall, so my slides start to go towards a more October fall theme. That's why they change color. That's the only reason. And then next skill is conflict, how to determine conflict. What conflict is, finding conflict in Percy Jackson. Then their annotation is to find conflict in that chapter, discussion questions, and then writing about conflict. So something else that you'll post around the room where they complete a conflict analysis, they find conflict in the quote, and then they have to write a quality written response. So these are posted around the room. And then again, a slide for them to do a gallery walk. A gallery walk to us is where they walk around and read what others have posted. Next skill, denotation, connotation, mini lesson. Examples in the book, teaching how to find it, vocabulary. All right, then we move on to theme. So we do theme topic versus theme statement, mini lesson. How to find it in Percy Jackson, how to write about it. How topics turn into theme statements. These are hacks for finding theme statements. This next one has like a clip on how to write a theme statement. That's a connection. It's a YouTube link. All right, then we're at chapter 11. Here's a mini lesson on imagery. And then finding imagery within Percy Jackson. These are all different examples. The slides look the same, but then the example is changing. Then there's a Percy Jackson sensory detail choice board. The kids get a whole doc that's linked with examples. We also play music a lot in class. The Percy movie soundtrack is linked. And then when they're working, it's the Camp Half-Blood scene again, just up on the board. Then we move on to chapters 12 and 13. Here's a video clip on the St. Louis Arch, which is where they're visiting. How we do discussion and academic conversation in class. Directions. Then how to write a summary, objective summary. Modeling, how to write one. Determining subjective versus objective. Then the myth Cronus, they write one on him. They practice. Practicing more. Chapter 14. Then the next lesson, building background on the myth Theseus and the Minotaur. There's a handout about Theseus and the Minotaur. Discussion questions directly related to the story of Theseus and the Minotaur. And then they write an objective summary. More discussion questions about Theseus and the Minotaur, linking it to Percy Jackson. And here, they complete a Venn diagram comparing the chapter 11 Medusa scene in Percy Jackson from the book to the movie because it's very different. Writing a compare and contrast. A mini lesson building background on more mythology. More chapters, more annotating. The next one is the real story of Medusa. It's a close read about her. And then there is a handout that you can post online or print, and it breaks it down with how to provide text evidence of their own thinking with specific skills that we've taught so far. This one's about plot. And then there's slides to support. This is the kids have this doc, but then these are your teaching slides to support. More plot. A whole mini lesson on plot, a fun lesson that the kids absolutely love on determining the plot of a Disney short. Another writing comparing the casino scene from the book to the movie after they've read that scene. More reading of chapters, more discussion, a mini lesson, review on theme and theme topics, more discussion, and then the end has a mini project where the kids create 5 things that could have really helped a demigod out. So Percy goes on a quest in it, and he had very little, and so the kids have to come up with things that that could have really helped him out. So I hope this video helps, and if you like this, my lesson is available on Teacher Pay Teacher and is linked below. Thank you.